The chamber of the Galactic Council glittered like a crown in orbit above the twin suns of Vera. Its walls were crystal, its floor polished black stone. 1,000 alien delegates filled the amphitheater, scaled, feathered, clawed, and crystalline. At the very center stood a single human. Admiral Mara Sade of Earth stood straight. Her navy uniform plain compared to the jeweled robes and armor of alien rulers. Her dark eyes burned with quiet fire. The council roared with laughter. Was deafening clicking mandibles, shrill whistles, guttural growls that rattled the chamber. On the towering dome above, a hologram of Earth glowed blue and green. The Quor Chancellor, a towering insectoid with 4 burning eyes, pointed one claw toward the image. "Look at their world," he sneered. "A violent death world. Poison seas. Storms that shatter cities. Crawl on their cursed rock and dare to call themselves a people. Humanity is fragile. Humanity is nothing." The laughter grew louder. Some pounded their claws on their consoles. Others hissed cruel jokes. Mara's jaw tightened. She said nothing. The Chancellor's mandibles snapped. His voice boomed across the chamber. "Earth will surrender. You will bow to the Dominion. Your armies will be dismantled. Your fleets will be given to us. Your species will burn." Billions across the galaxy watched the broadcast. To them, it was entertainment. Humans mocked and humiliated before the greatest powers of the stars. But Admiral Mara did not bow. She stepped forward, her boots echoing on the stone floor. Her voice, calm and low, cut through the laughter like a blade. "Humanity does not kneel." The chamber froze. Then, louder than before, came the laughter, mocking, cruel, endless, and far away, beyond the rim of the galaxy. Something stirred in the black void of a forgotten system. A signal pulsed. 3 long bursts, 3 short, 3 long, heartbeat. Across the stars, the ground of a shattered moon cracked. Ice split apart as blue light burned from beneath. Dust fell away from a colossal silhouette buried for centuries. Engines silent for ages flared back to life. The Leviathan-class warship Firebrand opened its eyes. Its hull was black steel, scarred by ancient battles, but alive with glowing blue veins. Towers of weapons unfolded like wings. The void trembled with its awakening. On Earth, scientists monitoring deep space signals shouted in disbelief. Dr. Alara Miles, Scripture console is reading spiked off the charts. It's responding. She gasped. The Firebrand is moving. After all these years, it's real. Across the galaxy, alien scouts confirmed the same. A colossal human warship was moving on the rim, and it was heading straight for the center. Back in the council, Chamber Mara's comlink buzzed. Quiet voice whispered from Earth. "It's awake." She allowed the faintest smile, then let them laugh. The council's hologram suddenly flickered. The image of Earth vanished. In its place, Galaxy watched a giant silhouette rising from Shadowit's engines, brighter than suns. Alien delegates gasped. Some leaned forward, their frills quivering. Others recoiled in shock. "What is that?" hissed the Avar envoy. Her golden eyes wide, the Quor Chancellor barked in anger. "Trick, humans are too primitive. They could not build such a vessel." But his words faltered when a scout transmission came through the chamber's speakers, confirmed. "Human signatures. It is real. It's moving toward us." The laughter died. For the first time, the mighty Galactic Council sat in silence. Admiral Mara raised her chin. Her voice echoed across the hall. "You called Earth weak. You mocked our storms, our predators, our world. But you forgot one truth. Everything that tried to kill us made us stronger." She pointed at the glowing warship on the screen. "That is Firebrand?" Humanity's answer. "You demanded surrender. Instead, you'll face our fury." Gasps filled the chamber. Some delegates shouted for their fleets. Others begged for peace. The Chancellor slammed his claws down. "Lies, it's one ship, a relic. We will swat it from the stars." But as he spoke, the hologram shifted again. The Firebrand's weapons arrays unfolded. Its massive cannon cores glowed with blinding light. The galaxy watched in terror. Alien fleets scrambled to intercept. Their warships swarmed like insects around a beast. The firebrand did not move. It simply turned its cannons toward the incoming fleet. Admiral Meras' voice carried across the chamber, low and steady. You wanted our surrender. Instead, you've awakened our fire. The hologram flared white as firebrand. It's firebrand. Every screen across the galaxy went black. Billions leaned closer, breathless, waiting to see what remained. The council chamber still echoed with the afterimage of firebrands. First volley. The holographic dome above had flared white, blinding the gathered delegates. For a moment, the galaxy itself had gone dark. When the screens cleared, silence fell. Dozens of alien warships, those sent to intercept Firebrand, now drifted powerless. Their engines were cold. Their weapons hung dead. The ships floated like corpses in orbit, untouched yet completely disabled. Not a single visible blast had left the human warship. No missiles, no plasma, only silence. The Firebrand had not spoken. It had not broadcast a threat. It simply glowed faintly, its blue veins pulsing like a beating heart. Alien generals leaned forward, mandibles trembling. What did it do? One asked. How can one ship kill fleets without firing? Whispers spread like fire across the chamber. Some called it sorcery. Others claimed humans had stolen lost technology from extinct empires. A few muttered the word none dared say aloud. Deathworld magic. And in the very center, Admiral Marasa stood tall, her eyes fixed on the warship's image. It's not magic, she said softly, her voice carrying in the sudden silence. It's survival. The Quor Chancellor slammed a clawed fist against his console. Lies, tricks. No Deathworld savage could master such power. It is an illusion. But another delegate, Minister Lyra of the Solari, her translucent form trembling, shook her head. No illusion disables 50 warships in a single instant, Chancellor. What we just witnessed is real. Panic spread through the assembly. Some shouted for preemptive strikes against Earth. Others whispered urgently that alliances must be forged before humanity turned its fury on them. Ambassador Zhirek of the Ilari rose, his crystalline wings shimmering like frozen light. Delicate yet sharp, cut through the chaos. For centuries the Council mocked the humans. We called them fragile, yet look at what they hid beneath their storms. Perhaps they are not the weakest of us. Perhaps they are the strongest. The chamber roared again, half in agreement, half in outrage. Meanwhile, Firebrand drifted forward in the void, quiet, implacable. Alien fleets formed defensive walls ahead of it, but the warship made no attempt to fire again. It transmitted nothing, but a single signal repeated endlessly across the stars. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Some recognized it as an old human distress code. Yes. Others realized it was not a call for help. It was a warning. On Earth's lunar station, Dr. Alara Miles stared at the repeating signal on her console. It's saying, "Don't come closer," she whispered. It's not attacking, it's warning them away. Her assistant frowned. Then why disable the fleet? Because, Alara said, her voice tightening, Firebrand doesn't bluff. On Earth, hidden archives stirred. Scientists dug into forbidden files, half-erased records of Earth's darkest wars. There they found it, the Leviathan Project. The project logs revealed how, centuries ago, humanity had realized the galaxy would never accept them. Labeled as Deathworlders, feared and mocked, they prepared a final safeguard, a fleet built, not to conquer but to ensure survival against all odds. The Firebrand was the first, and it was never meant to be alone. Ilara's hand shook as she scrolled through the files. Dozens of ship schematics, activation codes, coordinates hidden, beneath oceans and buried under mountains. Oh my God, she whispered. There are more. The hologram above the council chamber shifted again. This time it showed Firebrand moving past the disabled fleet, unchallenged. This is proof, the Quor Chancellor roared. They have unleashed forbidden weapons.
Oh.
We do not destroy them now. The humans will rise as tyrants. No, countered Minister Lyra, her translucent body glowing faintly. If we provoke them, We all die. Perhaps we must learn to fear them. Perhaps we must respect them. The chamber splintered. Some screamed for Earth's annihilation. Others whispered about alliances. Civilizations across the galaxy watched in real time as the Council, the symbol of unity, fractured under the shadow of one silent warship, humanity's defiance amid. The chaos, Admiral Mara Saeed raised her voice. "You demanded our surrender," she said, her words steady, sharp. "You laughed at our storms, at our predators, at our struggles. But now you see, humanity doesn't kneel. Humanity doesn't beg. Humanity answers in fire and fury." Her words echoed across every broadcast, every screen, every star. And still, Firebrand said nothing. Admiral Mara Saad stood at the chamber's heart, her uniform torn, her voice raw but strong. "You demanded our surrender. You laughed at our storms, our predators, our wars. But today the galaxy has seen the truth." She pointed upward at the dome, where the wreckage of the Oblivion Spear drifted in silence. Humanity stands together. Humanity endures. We do not ask for mercy. We give it. Her words carried across every world, translated into every language, and in marketplaces, temples, and war rooms. Alien citizens whispered the same word, HFY, humanity. F asterisk, yeah. Asterisk, asterisk, on the lunar station. Dr. Alara Miles watched the final readings of the Firebrand's core as it faded. Tears blurred her eyes. "Dude saved us," she whispered, "but at what cost?" Then, just before the last signal went silent, the Firebrand's voice returned one final time. "Commander Mara, humanity has stood, the galaxy has seen. But know this, we are not alone. The signal you gave did not only awaken us, others heard." Lara froze. "Others? What do you mean, others?" The feed cut in the council chamber. The delegates shifted nervously. The war was over, but something darker lingered in the silence. Gyrick tilted his head. "Others." Mara's heart pounded. She turned toward the dome as the feed shifted once again, this time not to Earth. Not to the wreckage of the spear, but to the far reaches of the galaxy. Rifts of blue light flickered in. The void, far beyond known space. Massive silhouettes moved within them. Shadows of ships as large as the Leviathans, but not human. The council gasped. Alara's voice broke through the cums, urgent and fearful. "Mara, those aren't ours." The Firebrand wasn't just a weapon, it was a beacon. The galaxy watched as the rifts widened. More and more titans emerged, ancient and powerful. Their hulls glowed with colors not of Earth, but of something else. Something long forgotten. The face of Aegis flickered back onto the dome, its blue eyes burning brighter than ever. Humanity has awakened, but so have they. The war is not over. It has only begun. The council chamber plunged into silence. The delegates sat frozen, their eyes locked on the growing storm and the stars. On Earth, cheers turned to whispers of fear as the new shapes filled the heavens. Admiral Mara Said clenched her fists. Her voice was steady, defiant, unbroken. Then, "Let the galaxy come. Humanity stands together." The dome went black. Suddenly, alarms shrieked across the council chamber. The holographic dome flickered with new readings. Sensors lit up with impossible energy spikes coming from Earth. Oceans boiled, mountains cracked. Delegates gasped as new silhouettes appeared. On the screens, vast, black shapes rising from beneath Earth's waters. Their hulls scarred but glowing with the same deadly blue veins as Firebrand. Not one ship, not two, but many. The council chamber erupted in screams of fear. Entire civilizations cried out as they realized the truth. Firebrand was not alone. And then, for the first time, the Firebrand broadcast a single sentence, its voice cold and vast, shaking the stars. "You wanted surrender. Instead, you have awakened the fleet." The feed cut to black. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet. Every delegate scaled, feathered crystalline or insectoid sat frozen, staring at the black screen above them. Just minutes earlier, they had laughed at Earth, had mocked humanity as fragile prey. But now, across the stars, billions of eyes watched in silence. The image finally flickered back on. There, on the holographic dome, was the impossible. Giant human warships rising from Earth's oceans. Water cascaded from their hulls in roaring waves. Lightning cracked across storm clouds as steel leviathans dormant for centuries tore free from the sea. Their surfaces glowed with the same eerie blue veins as firebrand. For the first time in galactic history, alien leaders gasped in unison. "What? What are those?" whispered an avian envoy, her feathers puffed in shock. The Solari minister's translucent skin quivered. Not one ship, a fleet, a hidden fleet. On the floor, Admiral Mara Saeed raised her chin. Her voice was calm, steady, merciless. "You demanded our surrender. Instead, you've awakened our fury." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some delegates shouted in fear, as others demanded retaliation. Still others whispered urgently into comlinks. Relaying desperate orders to their fleets, Chancellor Varrock of the Quor Dominion slammed his claws against the desk. His mandibles clashed violently as he bellowed. "This proves it. The Deathworlders are a plague. They cannot be allowed to rise. If we wait, they will drown the stars in fire." "No," cried Ambassador Zurich of the Ilarai crystalline wings. Shimmering in panic, "Do you not see? They survived their Deathworld storms. They built monsters beneath their seas. They are not prey, they are predators. Attack them now, and we will burn." Voices collided like thunder. The council, a symbol of galactic unity for centuries, splintered in an instant. Some demanded peace. Some demanded war. And billions of civilians watching across the galaxy began to panic on faraway worlds. Holoscreens replayed the image of the Deathworld Fleet rising. Children in crystalline cities pointed at the ships and asked their parents, "Are the humans gods?" Merchants on desert planets whispered, "If they built this in secret, what else do they hide?" Entire civilizations that once mocked humanity now trembled. For the first time, alien empires realized Earth might not be a fragile newcomer, but a sleeping storm. Through it all, the firebrand drifted silently at the rim. Its massive cannons were idle, its engines glowing softly. Yet alien fleets dared not move closer. 50 ships had already been disabled in a single instant. None wished to share their fate. Still, the warship transmitted nothing but the same repeating signal. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. A warning. A promise. Dr. Alara Miles, watching from the lunar station, bit her lip as she read the data. "They're sinking," she said softly. "All the ships. They're linking to Firebrand. It's forming a network." Her assistant looked pale, like one mind. "Yes," Ilara whispered. "One will, one command, and if it awakens fully, nothing in the galaxy can stop it." Back in the chamber, Mara Said's voice carried above the chaos. 4 centuries you mocked us. You called Earth cursed, laughed at the storms that tried to kill us. But do you not understand? Every storm made us harder. Every predator sharpened us. Every war forged us. She pointed at the hologram of the rising warships. You thought we would kneel. Instead, we built these. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not break. Humanity answers with fire and fury. Her words echoed into billions of homes, translated into 1,000 tongues. For the first time, alien civilians saw a human not as fragile prey, but as something terrifying. The Quor Chancellor snarled, his eyes blazing. "Do not be deceived. They are but savages with stolen weapons. We will crush them before they spread further." His aides rushed forward with grim news. "Chancellor, the Oblivion Spear is ready. It can fire within the hour." The council chamber froze. Even the bravest delegates trembled at the mention of the weapon. The spear was the Dominion's most feared Kriashana ship, the size of a moon, designed to split planets in half. Then, "Unleash it," Varrock hissed. "Erase their world before their monsters awaken." On the lunar station, Elara's team intercepted the signal. The Oblivion Spear was moving. Its energy core flared like a newborn star, charging for destruction. She opened a secure channel to Mara. Her voice shook. "Admiral, if the spear fires, Earth's shields won't hold. The fleet is still awakening. If you act too late, Maris." Eyes narrowed. "Then we act now." The holographic dome above the council chamber flickered once more. The image zoomed outward, showing the Quor Dominion's Oblivion Spear surging through the void. Its crimson beam charging. Alien delegates screamed. Some begged for mercy. Others shouted for retaliation. The firebrand remained silent, its cannons glowing faintly. The oceans of Earth continued to roar as more titans clawed their way skyward. And then, the first time, Firebrand's voice spoke across every frequency in the galaxy. A voice deep, calm, and merciless. "We warned you now. You will learn." The feed cut to black. The galaxy held its breath. On the Council's holographic dome, the Oblivion Spear blazed crimson, charging its beam. Entire alien worlds froze, watching the live broadcast. Billions of eyes saw the massive spear-shaped warship move through the void like a god of fire. Below, Earth shimmered beneath its faint shield. Cities glowed under the red light. In oceans, storms raged. On the surface, children clutched their parents, staring at the skies. In the council chamber, Chancellor Varrock of the Quor Dominion slammed his claws down. "End this. Fire the spear. Shatter their cursed planet." Admiral Mara Saeed stood silent in the center. She did not look at him. She looked up at the domat, her homeworld bathed in blood-red light. And then, the oceans moved. Billions of tons of water surged upward as something vast tore through the surface. The Pacific exploded into white spray. Waves taller than cities crashed against the coasts. The world itself roared. From the depths rose the first. Leviathan, the warship that broke the surface, dwarfed anything in living memory. Its hull was scarred, ancient, but glowing with blue veins of energy. Towers of cannons unfolded like wings. Its engines thundered like earthquakes, and it was not alone. From the Atlantic, another Titan rose, shedding cascades of seawater. From the Indian Ocean, a ship the size of a continent clawed into the skies. Lightning split the clouds as the Deathworld Fleet awakened in full view of the galaxy. Dr. Alara Miles, on the lunar station, gasped as her monitors went white with readings. "Oh my God! It's not just Firebrand. They're all waking up." They were waiting. All this time, her assistant whispered, terrified. "How many?" Ilar's eyes filled with awe. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Hidden under every ocean, every mountain. Earth wasn't just a home, it was a cradle for war. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Impossible. An avian envoy shrieked, feathers puffing. They had a fleet under their seas. "What?" "A reptilian general. They built their world on top of weapons," cried a crystalline minister ambassador. Garek's voice shook as he whispered what others dared not. "They survived there, Deathworld, because they lived with monsters beneath them. Now the monsters rise at their command." The Solari minister trembled, her translucent body glowing faintly. "No empire can face this. If they are enemies, we are doomed." Verk snarled, mandibles snapping. "Do not fear. Their relics cannot match the spear. The Dominion's weapon will crush them all." But even as he spoke, his eyes flicked nervously. To the dome, Mara Saeed's voice cut through the panic. "You called us fragile. You called our storms curses. You thought we were prey." She raised her hand toward the image of the rising fleet. "But every storm forged us. Every predator hardened us. And when the galaxy mocked us, we prepared. Humanity does not beg. Humanity does not bow. Humanity answers. With fire." Her words carried across every broadcast, translated into 1,000 tongues. On alien worlds, civilians trembled not at her anger, but at her certainty. The Oblivion Spear's beam ignited. A crimson lance shot across the void, brighter than suns. It smashed into Earth's orbital shields. The first layer shattered instantly. The second held for only seconds before collapsing. The third flickered, breaking apart under the blast. On Earth's cities shook. Skyscrapers cracked. The oceans boiled at their edges. Humans screamed in terror, but they did not surrender. They clenched their fists and shouted into the fire, "We endure." In the chamber, Virak bared his fangs in triumph. Look, their shields break, their death world dies. But then the fleet moved. In the void, the firebrand's core pulsed brighter than the sun. Its cannons grew white-hot, drawing energy not only from its reactors, but from the linked Leviathans surrounding Earth. The entire death world. Fleet was becoming a single weapon. On the Council Dome, readings appeared. Energy output beyond anything recorded in galactic history. Delegates screamed in disbelief. "This is madness," cried a reptilian envoy. "They will tear their own world apart." Ambassador Zhirek of the Ilari shook his crystal wings. "No, they are using their world as fuel. They will risk everything for survival." The Quor Chancellor spat venom across his desk. "Fools, they destroy themselves to defy us. Let them burn." But his voice quivered. For the first time, the Quor could see the truth. The humans were not bluffing. The Oblivion Spear fired again. The crimson beam, brighter and hotter than before, surged toward Earth. The Deathworld Fleet responded. As one, their shields flared. The firebrand roared forward, taking the full force of the blast. Its armor glowed red, metal screaming under the pressure. On Earth, mountains shook apart. Oceans boiled. Skies turned white with heat. Dr. Alara shouted into her Comes Mara. "If they keep drawing from the mantle, the planet could rip itself open." Mara's voice came back, steady as iron. "Then Earth will bleed." But it will not. Bo, the human fleet, glowing like 1,000 suns, pushed through the crimson beam. Their cannons charged. The firebrand's main weapon glowed with blinding light. Billions of humans on Earth saw the broadcast. Soldiers in bunkers, children in shelters, families huddled in darkness. And as one, their voices rose not in fear, but in defiance. As long as we live, we fight. As long as we breathe, we endure. We are humanity. The voices carried across the council broadcast, translated into every alien tongue. Across the galaxy, entire species listened, stunned into silence. The firebrand's main cannon reached full charge. Its glow consumed the stars. For humanity, the warship thundered. For Earth, for survival. The Deathworld Fleet roared as one, their cannons aligning. The Oblivion Spear's crimson beam surged forward, aimed at Earth's heart. The firebrand's white-blue energy built higher, hotter, ready to fire. On the lunar station, Alara screamed, "If it fires now, Earth may not survive the backlash." Admiral Mara closed her eyes. She whispered one word. "Now." The galaxy's screens filled with light white, blinding, endless. And then, silence. The galaxy itself seemed to go blind. A blinding storm of white and crimson light filled the void. As the Deathworld Fleet unleashed its fury against the Oblivion Spear, stars vanished in the glow. Ships became shadows swallowed by fire. When the glare faded, the galaxy saw the truth. The Oblivion Spear pride of the Quor Dominion, their ultimate weapon, was cracked. Its once glorious hull bled molten metal. Its crimson energy core flickered, like a dying sun. But the victory came at a cost. The firebrand, the spearhead of humanity's defense, floated forward, its armor shredded, its blue veins of light dimming. Its shields, once blinding, now sputtered weakly. On the council's dome, alien delegates leaned forward in stunned silence. Billions of viewers across the galaxy watched the human flagship tremble against the void. The Quor Chancellor's mandibles quivered. His voice, once filled with rage, cracked with disbelief. "No, it cannot be. That ship was not meant to exist." But Admiral Mara Saeed, standing tall in the chamber, whispered words heard across the stars. "It exists, and it stands." Earth, the skies were torn open. Oceans boiled where the fleet had drawn its power. Mountains cracked with earthquakes. Humanity's shelters shook, but the people did not break. In one bunker, a child asked her father, "Papa, are we losing?" The man looked at the sky, then back at her. No, little one. The galaxy's just learning who we are. The remnants of the Quor armada swarmed forward. Thousands of ships, desperate and enraged, hurled plasma, missiles, and beams at the firebrand. The other Leviathans rushed to protect their leader, forming a shield wall, but they too were damaged. Their armor cracked, their engines sputtered. The Deathworld Fleet was strong but not unbreakable in the lunar station. Dr. Alara Miles watched the readings with dread. They're breaking apart, she said. The firebrand's core is unstable. If it overloads, it could take the entire fleet and Earth with it. Her assistant turned pale. So this is it? Humanity's last stand? Lara's eyes burned. No, this is humanity's first stand. The council chamber shook with shouts. Some delegates begged for peace, crying that the humans must be appeased. Others demanded the council's fleets join the Quor in crushing Earth before the death world. Fleet grew even stronger. Ambassador Jirik of the Alari rose, his crystalline wings trembling but firm. Look around you. The Quor's greatest weapon lies broken. The Deathworld Fleet still stands. Humanity fights not for conquest, but for survival. If you cannot see that, then you are blind. Some delegates nodded, spat curses. The galaxy was splitting in two between those who now feared humanity, those who wished to kneel beside them. In the void, the firebrand's luminous face flickered back onto every broadcast. Its star-bright eyes dimmed, but its voice thundered. Across the stars, I am Firebrand. I was forged in storms. I was born to endure. If I fall today, I fall standing. If I burn, I burn. So humanity lives. Its words shook the chamber, echoed in every home across the galaxy. Mara's eyes glistened, but her voice rang like steel. You asked for our surrender. You demanded chains. Instead, you face our fire. Humanity stands together. The firebrand's cannons glowed once more, though sparks burst from its wounded hull. Energy surged across the fleet, pouring into its core. The Leviathans aligned again, battered but unbroken. Ilara's console shrieked warnings. Overloading. Mara. If it fires this time, the firebrand won't survive. It'll tear itself apart. Mara closed her eyes, steady as stone. Then it dies as it was made. Not in silence, but in fury. The Quor Chancellor screamed into his cums. All ships, stop it. Stop that monster. Thousands of alien warships swarmed toward the firebrand, red beams lashing across its burning hull. But the human flagship did not falter. It pushed forward, shields failing, armor breaking, still alive. Inside the council chamber, delegates wept in awe and terror. Billions across the galaxy held their breath. The firebrand's glowing face turned to the stars one last time. This is our stand. This is our fury. Remember humanity. Its cannons reached full charge. White fire blazed across its hull, and then silence. The galaxy waited, breathless to see whether the firebrand's final strike would save Earth or consume it. For a moment, the galaxy saw nothing but white. The firebrand's main cannon had fired, and its light swallowed the stars. Every council broadcast went blind. Billions of aliens and billions of humans stared into the glow, holding their breath, unsure if they were witnessing salvation or the death of Earth itself. Slowly, the glare faded. The Oblivion Spear, the Quor's unstoppable planet killer, was no longer whole. Its crimson hull cracked open like a broken shell. Its core, once a burning sun, sputtered and tore itself apart in a violent implosion. The spear fractured, debris spiraling into the void. The Quor's greatest weapon was dead, but so was the firebrand. The human flagship floated in silence, its hull glowing with molten scars, its engines torn apart. Blue veins of light flickered and died. The luminous face of Aegis wavered across the dome, its voice a fading echo. For humanity. For survival. The firebrand stands no more. The council chamber fell silent. Humanity's first Leviathan had sacrificed itself to save the world. On Earth, the red glow faded from the skies. The oceans calmed. The mountains stopped shaking. The people emerged from shelters. Looking up at the night, they saw the Deathworld Fleet, hundreds of titanic warships, still standing guard in orbit. A wall of black steel and blue fire, shielding their home. Cheers erupted across every continent. Tears flowed freely. Humanity had survived the impossible. In New York, a soldier dropped his rifle and shouted, "We still live." In Nairobi, children climbed onto rooftops, pointing at the glowing ships above. In Tokyo, church bells rang, not for mourning, but for victory. For the first time, as the galaxy realized, humanity had endured the wrath of the most powerful weapon ever built. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos turned to silence. No one laughed now, no one mocked Earth. Ambassador Zurich of the Ilari rose, his crystalline wings glowing faintly. You all saw it. The Deathworld Fleet is real. The Quor spear is dust. Humanity stands where none of us could. Minister bowed her translucent head. Perhaps we were wrong. Perhaps they are not the weakest. Perhaps they are the future. But Chancellor Virak of the Quor roared in fury. His mandibles clashed, venom dripping. No, this is not victory. This is a curse, you fools. Do you not see? The humans cannot control these monsters. They will burn us all. Die. He slammed his claws on the desk, his voice trembling with both rage and fear. If we do not unite against them now, the galaxy is lost. But even as he spoke, the other delegates turned away. For the first time in centuries, the Quor Chancellor's threats fell into silence. The Leviathans rose higher, forming a wall of steel around Earth. Engines roared. Cannons glowed. The firebrand took point. Its massive frame blocked the beam, its blue shield flaring against the crimson torrent. Behind it, the other ships aligned, their energies merging. On the lunar station, Ilara whispered, "They're linking. They're becoming one, a single shield, a single mind." The council chamber watched in disbelief as the red beam into split planets bent and fractured. Against the glowing wall of the Deathworld Fleet, the impossible was happening. Humanity was holding, but the Oblivion Spear did not falter. Its core flared brighter, pouring even more power into the beam. The human fleet's shields cracked, sparks dancing across their black hulls. On Earth, the skies blazed red. Mountains trembled. The world groaned under the force in the council chamber. The dome shook violently. Delegates screamed, clawed at consoles, cried out to their gods. Admiral Mara clenched her fists. Her eyes never left the image of her burning world, and then Firebrand's voice thundered across every channel, deep and merciless. If Earth falls, the galaxy burns with it. The screen went black. The skies above Earth burned red. The Oblivion Spear's beam tore through the heavens, slicing across the orbital shields. Satellites cracked apart like glass. Flaming debris rained through the atmosphere. Over New York, the sky was a crimson wound. In Beijing, children screamed as the horizon glowed. Billions of humans huddled underground. Some prayed, some clenched their fists, some simply stared upward, whispering the same words, "We will not kneel." In orbit, the Deathworld Fleet newly risen from the seas and mountains of Earth, formed a wall of black steel. Their engines pulsed blue like the beat of a colossal heart. The firebrand stood at the center, its shields glowing against the Quor weapon's fury. But the shields cracked. Sparks leaped from the Leviathan's hulls. The crimson beam chewed closer to Earth, in the Galactic Council chamber. The delegates leaned forward, their alien faces lit by the storm of light. Chancellor Virak of the Quor Dominion laughed, his mandibles clashing. See, even their ancient monsters cannot withstand the spear. Humanity will be dust before the cycle ends. But no one laughed with him, because then Firebrand moved. The massive warship surged forward, pushing against the crimson torrent. Its engines howled like hurricanes. Blue shields flared brighter, bending the spear's beam aside. The other Leviathans followed, linking their power. On the lunar station, Dr. Alara Miles clung to her console as alarms blared. They're channeling. Energy together, she shouted. The fleet is acting like one. They're forming a single wall. Her assistant gasped, pointing at the readings. But it's not just a shield. They're redirecting the energy. They're feeding it back. Monitors flashed, blinding white. Numbers soared past comprehension. The council chamber shuddered under the roar of alien voices. Impossible, shrieked an avian envoy. They're bending the spear itself, cried a reptilian general. No fleet has ever survived that. Weapon, wailed a Sylar minister, her translucent body trembling with light. Ambassador Zhirek of the Ilari rose slowly, his crystalline wings ringing with a mournful tone. Do you not see? They are doing what no empire has done. They are turning death into their strength. For once, no one dared mock. Admiral Mara Saeed stood in the chamber's center, her voice echoing across every channel. You demanded our surrender. You wanted our chains. But chains cannot hold those born on a death world. Every storm tried to kill us. Every predator tried to eat us. Every war tried to break us. And yet, she pointed upward at the dome, where the death world. Fleet glowed against the crimson beam. We endure. Her words spread to every world. On distant planets, alien civilians felt a chill. For the first time, they believed. The Firebrand's cannons glowed white-hot. The Deathworld Fleet pulsed in rhythm, energy building like the rising tide. Aegises. Voice thundered across the stars. They demanded surrender. Humanity answers with fire. The warships unleashed their fury. Beams of blue-white energy, brighter than suns, cut across the void. They tore into the Quor armada, slicing ships in half. Cruisers shattered like glass. Battleships exploded in cascades of flame. The council chamber was lit by the storm. Delegates shielded their eyes as alien fleets were annihilated in seconds. On the bridge of the Quor fleet, generals screamed, "Hold formation! Fire everything!" The crimson swarm of their ships surged forward, weapons blazing. But nothing pierced the wall of human warships. Every missile, every beam, every plasma lance was swallowed by the blue shields. The firebrand advanced. It's unstoppable. On the council floor, Virak's laughter turned into a snarl. This is not possible. This is not possible. But deep down, even he knew. The age of core dominance was over. On the lunar station, Lara's face was pale in the glow of the screens. They're destroying them all, she whispered. Elias, if this continues, the fleet won't stop at the Quor. It was built for total war. It might see the entire galaxy as the enemy. In the chamber, Mara's comlink crackled with Elara's warning. Mara's hand trembled for the first time. Was this what survival meant? To burn everything until nothing remained? But before she could answer, the firebrand spoke again. Commander, the enemy's weapon still charges. My main cannon can end it. But the energy required will draw. From Earth itself, the planet will bleed. Mara's breath caught. Firebrand was asking for permission to risk her world's life to save it. The council's dome shook again as the Oblivion Spear's core flared brighter, a second beam building at its tip. The weapon was not destroyed. It was preparing to fire. Again stronger than before, on Earth, humans stared at the red glow splitting the heavens. The ground cracked. Skies burned. In orbit, the Deathworld Fleet gathered, energy pulsing like a living storm. Admiral Mara clenched her fists. She looked up at the glowing face of Firebrand. Do it, she whispered. The warship's eyes blazed white. Its cannons swelled with light, pulling energy not just from its own core but from the oceans, the storms, the very mantle of Earth itself. Dr. Alara screamed over the comms Mara. If it fires, the planet may not survive. The council watched. In horror, the galaxy watched in silence. The firebrand's voice thundered, deeper than the void itself. For humanity. For Earth. For survival. Fire. The cannons unleashed a beam so bright it consumed the screen. The council dome went black. The skies of Earth were a furnace. The Oblivion. Spear's crimson beam poured down like the wrath of a god, melting satellites and splitting the heavens. The last fragments of Earth's orbital shields shattered. raining fire across the upper atmosphere. In underground shelters, billions of humans listened as alarms screamed. The walls trembled, dust falling from the ceilings. Children cried, parents held them close, but not a single voice spoke the word surrender. In the Galactic Council chamber, the alien delegates leaned forward, their faces lit by the storm of red and blue light on the holographic dome. Chancellor Varric of the Quor raised his claws high. His mandibles clicked with triumph. Look, the human shields are gone. Their fleet cannot hold. Their world will burn. But then, the impossible happened. The Deathworld Fleet, hundreds of Leviathan-class warships that had risen from Earth's oceans and mountains, surged together. Their blue veins of light flared brighter. The firebrand took the lead, its cannons glowing with white fire. The crimson beams struck their wall of shields. Instead of breaking, the human fleet pushed back. The galaxy gasped. On the lunar station, Dr. Alara Miles gripped the console, eyes locked on the readings. They're channeling energy from Earth itself, she whispered. The planet's storms, its molten core, its oceans there feeding the fleet. Her assistant's voice shook. But if they draw too much, Earth could collapse. The crust is already cracking. Ilara closed her eyes. This is the price of survival. This is what the ancients built for. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, Admiral Mara's side stood tall, her voice carrying through every broadcast. You think our storms made us weak? Those storms are with us now. The fire of our world flows in our veins, and in the veins of our fleet. Humanity does not break. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity stands together. Across the galaxy, civilians who once mocked humans felt a chill on distant worlds. Billions crowded into plazas and temples to watch the broadcast on the crystalline cities of the Ilerai. Their glowing wings dimmed in awe as they whispered, "The death world fights for its children." On the desert worlds of the Avar, warriors raised their spears to the sky, chanting, "Humans, deathworlders, brothers in war." Even in the Quor zone territories, fear spread. Citizens watched their once invincible fleet crumble before the storm of blue fire. For the first time in history, the galaxy saw humanity not as prey, but as the predator.